categorize you, and they always say, well, he's one of the main kind of freak folk artists that Chasny do. What do you think about that? Are you happy with that?
No, I think that's horrible.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's a made-up term that somebody else made up way after I was already doing tons of stuff that I was doing, so, you know.
You can divide your work in very noisy, drony kind of, even acid rock kind of things with band Comments on Fire, you also have,
yeah.
and this kind of more experimental folk kind of thing. What kind of bands or music would you want to decide to make music on your own?
Oh, what bands?
Yeah.
Probably in the beginning, like bands like Ghost, Richard Young's Ghost, bands like that. You know.
Did you check out to see them or perform?
Have I seen? I've seen Richard Young's perform once. I toured with Ghost for a while, so afterwards. But I had never seen the bands play when I decided to start doing music.
Oh. You seem to be very prolific. You make lots of records. How do you divide the things? You're gonna book some studio time and say, well, this should be another Six Organs record, or this. How does it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. I mean, I release maybe a record a year, and that's only 40 minutes worth of music. So, I mean, I think people are used to maybe major label bands, you know, arguing for a year while they're recording a record, and then they go on tour for a year and a half around the world, and then they have to deal with management and major labels for a long time, so they only end up releasing one record every 3 years, so it seems like a lot, but it doesn't, I don't really do anything else, so.
And the touring you're doing yourself, you're gonna play music you already released, or is it just experiment and do some new stuff as well?
Tonight, you mean?
Yeah?
Yeah, I usually only do about 2 songs from every record, because only like 2 or 3 songs from each record allow themselves to be played live, so. And this is kind of a rock-oriented thing. It'll be a lot louder, so, than like the record.
You also worked with you did some collaborations. You worked with David Tibet, for instance, on Current 93. How did that come about? Because
I don't know. Somehow we just met and we just started working. Actually, Alex Nielsen, who's playing drums in the band, also I don't play with Current 93 anymore, but Alex Nielsen is you know, besides being the most handsome person in the band, you know, he's also plays in Current 93.
what does it do you see any connection between your work and David Tibet's ideas about?
Just that every time he steals from me, you know, he steals a lot. And I told him to knock it off, but he keeps doing it. So
You're probably right about that. There is some kind of connection to the latest records he made. Do sound a bit like.
He was completely satanic until I turned him on to Jesus Christ. So.
And now you're becoming satanic. Or?
Yeah. No, no, I'm not.
Okay, because I read some interviews with you. You made an interesting remark where you say, well, perhaps David is into very apocalyptic folk kind of thing, but to you it doesn't seem that interesting because the world around you is that much apocalyptic, so you don't need to read or listen to those kind of things.
Oh yeah, sounds like I was having a bad day. I don't know. Yeah, he's sort of concerned with. You know, biblical apocalypse.
Yeah.
But I'm not really concerned with that.
What does concern you? What kind of things do you want to put in your lyrics? Or?
My stuff is way more day-to-day, average, you know, living stuff. Not anything too heavy.
But it's also about Greek mythology and.
Well, the first one. I mean, that was easy because there's no words. So whenever you find yourself with an instrumental and. You know, you reach into that bag of Prague tricks, yes, and all those guys, and just grab a Greek myth. Pretty easy. Okay.
Is when I listened to the record, I said earlier, it really reminded me of some kind of British kind of folk kind of artist, Bert Jens, for instance.
Yeah, well, he's a huge influence.
Okay.
He's been an influence throughout everything I do. So he's one of my favorite. I mean, he's probably the biggest influence on my acoustic playing.
Did you ever see him perform? Because he.
No, I've never seen him perform. I know he's been playing again, but I haven't had a chance.
Do you have an idea why this? Well, there is a kind of difference between Bert Jansen kind of thing and David Graham did with the kind of British thing and the American. Can you explain? Is there a difference in sound or attitude towards folk music?
Well, there's a big difference in the playing styles because a lot of the Americans, if you're right-handed, a lot of the Americans, they're really concerned with their finger picking, this hand, and going, you know, and this hand doesn't really move as much. But the British guys, their left hand is moving all over and doing slides and hammer-ons and bends and stuff. So there's a really big difference in styles, actually.
And how do you prefer to play?
I kind of take the worst of both aspects and put them into one.
Or the best?
Depending on how drunk you are.
And is there, are there any people around here, or for instance, on this festival you like to check up yourself?
Yeah, we're only here for a day.
Okay.
So there's a lot of bands playing that I'd like to see, but yeah, we're only here for tonight. That's the only band I can see. Yeah. Like, I'd like to see Fucked Up playing.
Tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see them, you know, but I've never seen them live, so.
Okay. There's one last thing. When I was reading this interview you did online with Pop Matters, you made a kind of statement for record shops that, as we all know, record shops are having difficult times these days, and you said, well, shops should be open and should be they're very important in the spreading of good music.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because you're talking to somebody face to face. I mean, I worked at a record store for years.
Me too.
Just because I don't have any skills, so that's and it's the only place that would let me drink on the job. They were very cool about it. And so yeah, but besides that, I mean, it's the only place. I mean, you can talk to somebody face to face instead of having to go to somebody's review on Amazon. And I don't know. I think it's a lot. That personal interaction is important, and I think that as we grow, like, it just seems like there's less and less personal interaction in society in general nowadays, and everybody, I mean, even communication, everything is digital. That's fine, but I think human interaction is really important. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty important.
Yeah, it's nice to have good reviews, of course, on Pitchfork and things like that, but it really works when somebody in a record shop is very enthusiastic about your record. And
what's Pitchfork?
Pitchfork. You never heard about it?
No.
Okay. I'll explain it later. But it's I mean, for instance, somebody who works here who says this record is very good, and when people buy, for instance, one of the reissues of Bert Jansen, they say you should listen to this. That's how it works, actually.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Or you know, if you like that, you might want to check this out instead of just, you know, being kind of bored with your job working at Pitchfork and writing bad reviews all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So, in my opinion as well, the best thing to find new music is go to a record store. Don't read all the stuff. Don't
I absolutely agree.
And while we are here, perhaps you can perform something for us.
You want me to?
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah. You guys have a guitar.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. How many songs do you want me to do? Nobody told me anything about this.
Here's the box over there.
Play your heart out.
He looks the other way.
Sure, I'll do. Maybe I'll do two.
Thanks very much.
I'll try to use this. Maybe I'll because it's an acoustic guitar.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Guitar's over there.
All right.
Make yourself comfortable somewhere.